Good evening and welcome to tonight's episode of Eat, Crit and Survive, where a bunch of people gather in different locations to play some Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
Yeah, four of us are in one small space.
One secret location.
This is not a party. This is a work gathering.
No. It's a virtual quiz.
I mean, 3 of you live there, and one of them
Audio works.
there at work, so I think it's fine.
Sorry, Tom, you went quiet there.
3 of you live there and one of them's visiting. I think it's fine or something.
That's true, yeah.
One of them there at work.
Yes, you are working.
He's here for work purposes.
He is
me, I
working.
wouldn't be here if it wasn't for someone having no hot water.
Yeah, we will be paying him later, probably.
Probably not.
In keeping your character
I'll
alive.
have a Red Bull. Thank you.
There you go. We might give you a
I
biscuit.
hope
Yes,
you
Tom.
declare that on your
I'll
tax.
come round and do your one.
Yes, we
You
are.
can just go around everyone's house.
I can actually.
Yeah, I mean, Connor, you are actually due to
Christmas,
pop
I fixed your
over.
boiler.
So to come
Yeah,
to
I'm due to do everyone in boiler.
Yeah.
Wasn't
I,
you due to do your boiler last year and you never got around to doing it?
No,
You never
no.
invited-
No, he did it last year, but he did it early last year. So he probably should have done it early this year.
When I have infinite amounts of time.
Yeah, we did not time straight, but
I don't know. If it wasn't on a Friday, you'd have been cold.
Oh, hey, Zooskoon. Hey, Zooskoon. Welcome to the chat.
what? We actually have someone talking to us in our D&D chat?
Yeah.
Not
What?
there.
Yeah.
Oh no, my channel points.
Wait,
Do you not have the app?
I do, I just can't be bothered. But it seems as I already have more than anyone else.
Yes.
Oh.
Zooskoon says, "What's up, gang?" Well, you know,
True.
we've had some chaos.
Oh no! D&D Beyond is snowy!
What?
It's
How come yours is covered in
So
snow?
That's
mine is-
my app.
Mine's just red.
Oh,
because
yeah.
it's blood.
purple, 'cause-
Oh, snow, yes,
Shows
nice.
the
I showed the camera here.
Oh,
That's where the
pansexual.
camera usually is.
Oh my God. This is going to the wash of the audio in this is going to deafen some people. So I apologise to everyone involved.
Sorry, I'm very excited.
Does this work? What do you mean? Does what work, Zooskoon? I don't know. Do you prefer being called Zeus or Skoon or Zooskoon when we're referring to you on chat?
Zooskoon has popped in to see his 10th
Where are my
Fan.
notifications?
most watched.
Yes, 10th most watch. Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Smashed it.
Well, we. I don't know.
I think I'm number 1.
Our notifications should be in here.
Shame it's not on a channel.
I think I just don't have them in this scene. Is probably what I haven't done because
We have a lot of.
I haven't figured that
text
out yet.
Much tech stuff still
I
needs
couldn't
to be.
completely dash for it.
Hey, Zooskoon's hosting us. That's nice. You? Skoon, we love you. Where is our alert box? There's the alert box. That's the one I want. Add source.
We have an alert box.
Oh, really?
Wait, we have a Twitch.
I thought we were just talking about Luke's Twitch on this.
Hey.
I thought
Every
Stu was
time
an
you said-
imaginary friend.
I thought every time he said he was working on Twitch, I thought he was just trying to
Just stretching it out, see if it would go away. He's getting some sleep.
Thank you, Skoon. That is much appreciated. I've got absolutely no idea what our alerts would be for doing that, but
What? Posting?
hosting. I don't know.
No, I didn't make one for posting, so I thought it'd never happen.
In which case, we don't have one, so it doesn't happen.
Just full of confidence for the chat.
You're lucky I'll put a follower and a subscriber button in if you completely
And to be fair, for the D&D streams, we don't really don't usually pay that much attention to what's going on.
Like and subscribe.
Don't forget to smash that like button and ring that bell.
Down there.
Down here somewhere.
Hey, we just go put that. Go put the other box.
I think I'm the
there.
closest in this corner.
You know what? If we all point at a corner,
Hey,
one of us
might
is gonna
point on the
be-
right one. It's
No,
down
it's the wrong
down
spot.
there somewhere.
I forget it flips my camera.
No, I don't know. It's fine. But thank you, Skoon, for the host. That is much appreciated.
You are our best fan.
Red set.
Laura is now rediscovering the app because it's been so long since she's been on it.
It's
It's been a while
got-
since we played some D&D.
I mean, I don't like
So,
rolling
speak for yourself.
virtual dice.
Let's say hello to other people in chat. We've got Abbott Costello, we've got Payne Fullers, we've got Steph the Icing.
Sorry, Abbott and Costello are watching.
We've got Abbott Costello, is the Twitch handle.
I thought they were dead.
We've got the, we got the Optimistic Elk. That
We've
is
got
right.
the ghost of Abbott Costello.
There you go. And we've got Zeus Goon. Who's hosting?
Roll dice on this.
No, yeah, we'll have to roll physical dice.
That's fine. I'll roll physical dice, but it's interesting that you can pick which dice you want to roll, but you can't actually roll on the app.
Yeah.
Which is
Well, you can barely plug anything into it.
Right.
Yeah, we've got the Sparky. He's going to move that up when he comes in to do the lights in here. He's going to move that up. It's the most useless
But
thing.
why?
Yeah.
But why?
Yes.
But why?
I don't know. There are some odd things about this house that we'll probably discuss at length when we're here in person.
There's a double socket.
You are there in person.
Don't. And we're not doing a Twitch stream because we're not going to walk you around.
Right, yeah.
Why not?
Oh, what, house tour?
Yeah.
House tour.
Might get more views.
You might get more views if you do. Make sure you get your feet in it, Luke.
Tonight.
For that.
Through the crit hole.
Now, what we'll do is we'll start you up like Martin Roberts. You can just wander around saying, "This room you can do so much in."
Or
What we-
you
or-
do that, and I'll give you in detail. I'll do a blow by blow how I'm going to service the boiler. We'll cover all bases.
What he needed was a point of view
Engineering
shot
ASMR.
from Connor walking up to the door, like MTV Cribs.
They're already in the house.
Yeah, and you're in the house. You're like, oh, I wasn't expecting you. Come on in and have a look at the house.
Yeah,
It's
you
like
got-
I love-
camera over
There's a
shoulder.
camera here, yeah.
But
100%.
What, you mean you don't constantly have yourself filmed, so you've got a third-person record of your life?
no, normally I wander around with the GoPro on.
My camera's just over there.
Yeah. So you get a POV of my life.
Yeah, stick that on Twitch. Let's do this.
Sounds like it. Sounds like a good idea.
Yeah, that'll be very interesting.
As if 2021 wasn't bad enough.
here's the views of Matt's work.
Matt working.
Fuck off!
It works for Gordon Ramsay.
Demonetized immediately for profanity.
I'm getting money for this.
So much
Uh,
profanity.
Oh dear.
Oh, bloody hell.
Let me just enable that button and switch off that button.
What are you bloody yelling?
So, I watch it. Yeah, I forgot to switch off the Nightbot notification to say that we were playing a board game from the last time we played on
You
Wednesday.
always forget Nightbot.
You know what?
Oh, Nightbot.
You know what? Nightbot can fuck off. Right? Nightbot likes to pipe up at an inappropriate
It does.
time.
When it did
Playing a board
time.
game. We're playing D&D. No, we're not. Today's players are damn jam. It's just not part of the game anymore.
Well, at the time I put a message in, and
Is it-
it was like, we don't use that sort of language around here. It's like,
Oh yeah, you
what?
don't
Someone's
shout,
having a
don't
back and
shout.
forth-
You use
someone's having a
capitals.
back and forward conversation and like
Don't shout.
for spamming the chat.
Yeah.
Banned our one viewer.
Boo, Nightbot.
So
Bin it.
I take it because I'm uneducated in such things. Nightbot is the modern day equivalent of Microsoft Paperclip.
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, in-
Actually, a really good like equivalent. Yeah.
Yeah, no well.
It's like our personal little cheerleader, but just cheering for completely the wrong team, if anything.
Yeah, that's fair. But if you want to follow what Nightbot has said, is the previous game that we played on Wednesday, which is available on our VOD now. You can see me and Laura playing Everdell, and you get to find out whether or not Laura beats her, gets rid of her losing streak of all board games played on stream.
Wow, nice.
Hashtag spoilers.
Spoiler alert.
I finally did it.
You did.
I broke the curse.
Yeah, we played enough cute games that she was eventually able to win.
No, it's because I played Everdell before, so I knew what the heck I was doing.
That's what you've been training for the last 2 weeks.
I'm playing this game.
I've been
done.
playing solo mode.
Nothing but watching YouTube tutorials.
How to win at Everdell. How to win a board game 101.
Play
Get
a lot.
more points than the other person.
No!
I always thought it was just do your best and you'll be rewarded.
Yes!
No, that's,
Never
no,
paid
that's,
for me.
Try
That's the shouts.
again. But yes,
Nightbot.
it
No,
was
that's,
good.
that's just kids' sports days.
Oh,
Yes, where
you come
everyone
third,
got a
get a
sticker.
trophy. Oh, piss off, you slow as
No.
shit.
No, you didn't win. Don't get a trophy.
You couldn't even throw a
Everyone gets a
beanbag. Get out.
sticker. Everyone got a little sticker.
Oh, dear.
You got the 1, 2, and the 3, and then the well done for the rest of them.
First loser. There you go, mate.
Well done.
If you're not
There you
winning,
go, Lewis.
Yeah, nice. Alrighty, I think we have messed around long enough. We
Never.
may check in with chat
Never.
things, but there we go. So,
I'll stab it.
it's Yankee!
I've had enough for diplomacy. I know I'm the one who set most of it up last week.
I want a peaceful ending. Fucking throw knives in.
Yeet. I throw Shatterfang at it.
Can I have a recap, please? I don't even know what happened.
It's
last
been a
time.
while, so
For
let's
once,
go
I
through.
didn't stab it. I regret everything.
We'll
I
go
did
into
not play
it.
true to my
It's
character.
going to be a really cool fight. We're definitely going to get destroyed by an old
Correct
man.
Nightbot information. Yes, we have corrected Nightbot to give us the right information, hopefully. So if you want to check out the previous campaign, you can go and have a look. We put it onto YouTube. But for those of you who don't have the time to go and do that now, what happened last week, or last time we played, which was like 3 weeks ago.
Oh,
I was going to say last week.
So
We
long.
moved house and then we were busy.
It's
Um,
been 60 years.
So where we last left off, the Wandering Stars had
84 years.
set war upon Maymore, which had been overtaken by the various parts of the Cult of the Void, and had set upon the army from the northern reaches of Jorvik upon them. And it was going to become bloody and terrible. As the battle went on, you teleported into Maymore, the upper city of Maymore, summoned your Earth Elemental army, and they sank through the stones to go and
I might regret it.
cause even more chaos.
We
You
want
summoned,
peace in 5 minutes.
you summoned 10,000 soldiers to go and
to go and flank from the back.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
Oh.
Best strategy.
Diplomacy down.
You then stepped into the hoard bag that you found in the Void Dragon. Sorry.
H-O-R-D-E.
HOARD.
The bag that contained the hoard
Right.
of the astral dragon that you came across, or void dragon that you came across once before. And you found within it what was once its hoard, a... Oh, God, I'm going to grab the three of you.
What's
in a
good?
room
You've got
together.
3 rooms of the gift chat in one room.
Good, 19 meteors fall from the sky.
Simple comment.
Future DM equipment is going to include a squirt bottle.
Sorry, it's been 2 years. I'm not used to normal social interaction.
I know. Okay. Can you turn the other people out for me?
I'm actually a little bit horrified for when Con and I are in the same room again.
It's
It's gonna be
I don't think we can ever allow
naughty kids in the back of the classroom situation.
Okay. But you found within there a giant ancient crystal dragon flying towards you with its rider on its back. These seemingly being the voices between the shady leaders of the Cult of the Void. After discussing with Quello, the ancient elf that was the dragon rider, you found out that there was some sort of history between the Drasmak and the individuals that had been trapped here. And they had been banished, and they had set things terribly. They had set these things in motion by whispering through the astral sea and the different cracks in the plane, finding like-minded individuals to overtake the world for them and destroying the material plane in the process.
Is there only the one guy?
There's one guy and a big dragon.
Yeah.
Fucking dragon.
Did you say there was more people that was banished with him?
No,
Or was it just him?
just him.
Right, I
Man,
understand.
all his mates died, and
He
then
was, yeah,
together.
they were the last survivors.
They all died. You can fuck off.
Yeah.
Right, understood.
So, in a desperate bid to not die,
Pretty much.
Asher spoke with Quello and convinced a stay of war for peace talks to occur where potentially Quello could be put into their own separate demiplane and not have the influence of the gods any further. As you plane shifted back into the material plane, back into Maymore, that is where we pick up. So you find yourselves in the ancient city of the former cloud giants with the white alabaster walls. Somewhat. No, you are not in the same street, but you're in the same city, but you're in a different part of the city.
So do you have to go and retrieve the bag?
You do. However, as you are landing, it is oddly silent.
It's quiet. Too quiet. I legitimately say, Kelatar says.
Yes, I assumed.
Because he would.
Quiet as in, what would we have heard before we left?
Sounds of battle. There were dragons flying overhead.
Right.
10,000 going into battle.
Right, and now, like, it's...
Silent.
Is it like, did we essentially do a Feywild move and time has moved differently?
You have no idea.
We've already won.
Yes.
Oh, that was easy.
Yeah, all we had to do was talk.
Just talk. Can I... What? We're in a street
You're just in a street.
with just houses.
Houses, a few dead bodies, various bits and pieces littered around.
So
Good,
that should
But
good.
nothing is... It's the same, same as the
Nothing's
city.
flying
previously.
overhead.
Nothing overhead, nothing moving that you can see from where you are.
Do we know whereabouts we are?
You've never been to the city before. You've got absolutely no idea.
That's what I thought.
We've got a hand from Kalatar, so I'll come to you in a second, Tom.
Can I determine how long the nearest body to me has been dead?
Make a medicine check.
Ooh, probably 25.
Damn.
This particular human individual seems to be fairly noble. Of the clothes that still remain has been charred a little bit. Has started decomposing, so it has been at least a week that this body has been here.
Okay.
Now, that is consistent with some of the people that you did see previously, because this war has been going on for about 3 weeks.
Okay.
So it's
Old
not...
dead, not new dead.
Yeah, so there are bodies that were older. Yeah.
Okay.
Sour.
Tom,
How's the temperature?
temperature is still cold.
Stiff easterly
Right.
breeze.
So there's
The air is cold. The air is cold, but it is still.
Is it similar to how it was before we left?
When you left before, there was a breeze. There was a strong wind blowing across in a southwesterly direction, but at the moment it is static.
Didn't we see a magical barrier around part of the city? If we were behind that, might that be blocking out the noise?
If it was around the city, are we not still in the city?
It was sort of around the
So
castle.
originally in the city, it was known that there was a barrier that went around the entirety of the upper city to protect it from the elements,
Right.
and from magical and physical attacks. But because something broke through and damaged the barrier, in order to protect it, they condensed it down to just protect around the castle.
Okay.
So the rest of the city was exposed to the natural winds and elements. As you look up in the sky, it is the same star-dotted landscape that you saw previously. There is no obvious shimmering barrier that you had seen when you were looking at the castle.
Is there an obvious castle?
Not from where you are, but there are enough tall buildings where you guys are to obstruct your view of the castle.
Can I send? I have got no idea what stuff I've got. Can I send? Because I've still got a drone. Don't I?
You still have
got a
Droney.
Droney. Can I send Droney up and scry?
You may.
I don't know. I can't remember what that takes up.
Multiple actions and energies.
It takes some energies, yeah,
Things and thingamabobs.
that I will have to like
Stuff.
do. I think it takes. I had to write this down. I think it takes like
Takes
two
a couple of energy, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so you send Droney up and goes up beyond the 4 stories that are giant-sized. And as you look through, Firstly, you sort of pass through a slight ash cloud that is above you that wasn't really noticeable against the sort of inky black sky. But as Droney passes through that, the particles of soot don't move. Apart from the ones that physically touch, they are just sort of left in the wake. As Droney gets higher, you can see not much in terms of the city, but then you turn towards where the castle is, and you can see dragons turned mid-flight, breath exhaling out, riders sat upon them with blades drawn, a lightning bolt arcing out from within the castle, frozen in time.
Someone did a big hecking time stop. Okay.
Did Lila just say that?
Yeah, that's absolutely
Yes, that does sound
whoa, someone's done a big hecking time stop. Guys, right, there's dragons over there, there's a rider over there, there's a lightning over there, and they're completely frozen in time. Like, I think we're either moving super duper fast or something bad's happened.
When you come out of scry, we should all stand still.
Cedric will pick up a stone and throw it.
Okay, you pick up the stone, and as you throw it and leave your hands, it just clatters and impacts as it normally would.
Reacts normally.
Yes.
I think we are moving normal speed.
And everything else is frozen?
What?
Potentially.
But how? Why? Do we need to get the bag first and then worry, or is the bag not a priority anymore?
What did Quellar say about how much time we had? He gave us some terms.
About 24 hours.
I think it
he
was
said
just
we
24
had,
hours because it was
or-
just between basically either we broke a piece or the
Kill
whole-
everything
Yeah,
in
everything
24
gets triggered off anyway. So we're literally on the last day. Maybe it's still worth going for the bag.
Maybe just so that no one stumbles across it and ends up letting anyone out.
And if everyone else is frozen, it should be relatively risk-free.
From
I mean-
Droney, can I see where we left the bag? Or
Make a
which
perception check.
direction? Oh no.
I think we lost them.
I will guidance.
30, you don't need to.
Just in case.
Just in
Be
case.
high.
Add a
30.
D4.
Add a D4. 33.
Nice.
Okay.
Thanks.
You get from the sort of the general stroke of draining where they are up in, it is up in the space, you can get a direction and you can kind of navigate using the main streets to give yourself a rough path to get you back to where the bank was that you went through the first time.
How far away is it?
Maybe a quarter of a mile,
Okay.
which is effectively like
One
two
turn
streets.
per pound.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Done.
I will say I think I know where the bag is. If we follow Droney, we can get there maybe pretty quickly, and then we can figure out what we need to do.
Good.
Still can't see anybody else moving though.
But what we should definitely not do is touch anything or anybody. Just in case they get hurt.
Oh.
Stab.
Yes, so I will kind of send Droney a little bit ahead up above roofs, so I've got a good aerial view and walk in direction of.
Are you keeping your eyesight through Droney, or are you having someone carry you? And having someone carry you, or are you walking? And get your
Pop your
sight back.
Cedric shoulders. if you
Yeah, I
want.
was going to say, ideally, if I could keep an eye through Droney as long as someone's kind of like making sure I don't walk into things.
Is it still kind of astral planey here?
Yes, it is.
So we could basically
Float.
we will float and we could tow her.
Yeah, you are effectively weightless and using your minds to move rather than walk.
Oh, so we could just fly.
Yeah.
So I could just fly with droning.
Yeah, everyone's speed is
In my
3 times their intelligence score.
Sweet, I move a bit faster than normal.
I only gained 5 feet.
3 times.
3 times their
So
intelligence.
I
You-
like-
now,
I like to move. Yeah, I get over double my speed.
Yeah.
I get 60.
45.
welcome to being a
Oh,
monk.
slower.
Because I'm now slow.
Cedric does move slightly faster than he did the last time you were here.
Yes, but
Okay, well, in that case, I'll bring Droney down, and if we can just fly, we'll just fly over the roofs.
Okay, you fly over. As you fly, you do notice that there are some general battalions of soldiers, like Githyanki, sort of green-skinned, almost elf offshoot-like creatures, particularly muscular, that are chasing humans through the streets that seem to be... They look like they are nobles, but they also look like they are haggard and worn from having to be sieged for so long.
This time stop seems to be more likely to be a defensive measure to my way of thinking. It wouldn't benefit any attackers to freeze time. But for
No.
the defenders, it could maybe buy time for a relief force to arrive as a last ditch.
Depends how far it goes.
Exactly.
Like if it's just in the city, if it's further, if this is God's interfering because they've had enough of this shit. Part of me kind of wants to go and poke one of them, but I'm not going to because I'm not going to. I'm
We've
intrigued, but I'm gonna carry on.
as a party, we've interacted with the time stop spell before, haven't we? I'm sure we have.
Leela has.
Yes.
I
So
need-
you'd be aware, obviously, that if we take any immediate actions with anyone, then we cease to be in a time stop potentially.
Yes. But only if you're the one that casts.
But this is some weird ass magic, so we don't know.
I think that's only if the person cast it. Like, I don't know, because we didn't cast it, at least I did. I hope I didn't know what. That would be very embarrassing. I do apologize. But if we didn't cast it, I don't know if us interfering would stop it. I'm just intrigued as well, but I'm not going to touch anything because
You don't want to restart a war.
that too. Just don't want to get in the way.
I don't want to be in the middle of it, really. Otherwise,
No.
I would take this opportunity and go back and just stab. The easiest way to win a war. Try and restart the entire army, just drop it.
In one go.
We level up 4 times.
Yes, I'll just keep going further back.
Okay, you eventually come to the bag, left as it was, where you were before.
Well, that's good. If we interact with the bag, does it stop?
I pick it back up.
Okay. It's a bag.
There's your whole bag. Forward bag.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome.
I was going to say, pretty sure I haven't touched this ever since I joined you guys, so you can have it back because I'm scared of what it will do.
There's a whole bag. You seem responsible. Hodor.
Don't put your dick in that.
Maybe you should.
Not unless you want
Fuck it.
to meet the crystal dragon again.
Yeah, the crystal dragon goes, are you fishing for something with that tiny worm? Nom.
So, are we agreed that we are going to try to persuade the gods to make a deal with Quelor?
I think that was the brief summary. Yeah.
That and those who are at war right now as well.
Wasn't there a specific one like Bahamut we needed to speak to?
Oh, dear.
Being like he was the one who did it.
It was Bahamut's magic that was channeled through the Drasmak in order to banish them to that separate demiplane to create it. Does not necessarily mean that Bahamut is going to be able to do anything else by it. Because generally, as you have heard before, gods cannot undo other gods.
There are loopholes.
There are some bypasses.
Cedric, what do you
But you also have no standing with Bahamut as a group.
No, I mean,
Not yet.
But we do have seating.
I'm really good at praying.
Dragon. No, you're a bitch of a dragon. That's a different
We
thing.
killed a couple dragons.
Um,
This was just a bigger one. I mean,
are we not going to worry about why time has stood still? Are we just going to try and speak to the gods?
I don't know how long we have, and I think spending time wondering why we have more time might not be the best use of our time.
Point taken.
I also
If we try to speak to the gods and it seems the gods are frozen, then we should probably worry.
I would agree with that.
can't really undo this with a sword, so pass.
My sword won't help in this situation either.
I think Calazar does have swords, but
Somewhere.
Buried in a bag.
It's rusty. One of these.
So we've got to talk to the gods and see if they will let the guy with the crystal dragon out of the bag.
Let the main villain back out into the material plane, yeah.
In a plane of his own.
That's what he wanted, right?
But
Yeah.
is he not in a
He
plane
wanted
of
own
his
space.
own already?
One that
Back
he
into this
possibly
world.
be allowed to leave at any given time. Maybe
He's-
some
But no
grass.
one's gonna build him a plane that he can just leave.
I think the thing was that he wanted to be able to freely roam anywhere. We put the condition on that he should probably have his own separate space because a giant dragon flying around is probably quite terrifying for people.
he is effectively trapped in a plane where there is nothing but him and his
Yes.
dragon. He wants to have normality, but he also wants whatever you can negotiate in the terms of the conversation. He was basically saying he was willing to have a conversation.
But how do we know that after a few thousand years he's not just going to get bored and just start wreaking havoc again?
That's
We don't.
the heroes'
That's for
problem.
the heroes of the future to deal
That's
with.
next campaign's problem.
We are the aftermath of his absolute destructional episode.
Oh, you're the prequel.
That's the point, actually.
No,
This
the campaign
Quite-
3 is the aftermath.
fellow did look old, even for an elf. Could I make some kind of guess as to what sort of lifespan he might have left?
It's an interesting point.
How
Didn't
far
you say
can we lock
slightly
this up?
undead looking though?
A little bit, but
Yeah.
also,
If
well,
he was
also,
going to die, he wouldn't be that fussed about trying to get out.
I would say make a history check, family.
History check.
Yes.
There.
How many Horcruxes does
I will guidance.
It's not
I
going
will-
to help.
I will aid him.
Neither of
I'm
you.
very history.
Family did not.
History.
Family did not.
the history, yo.
Family did not ask this question aloud.
That's right.
No one can assist with
Can I
this.
athletically
Okay.
help him?
I'm just charismatic as fuck, yo.
Family, what did you get?
I have no idea how long an elf lives. But I got 4.
Ah, okay.
More than 4.
I
But
mean,
they live until something kills them.
Yes.
So as far as
I was wondering how long he might live, but I have no idea.
He has an ashes priory day.
can I make a guess or have an insight into? Because this seems weird.
Like
My
as an elf, how
I
long
was-
do I live?
I would say yes, but I will point out again that family did not raise this question aloud. So whether it's
I thought
I just said that I was wondering about it.
oh, did you? I did not hear that because I had these three.
Yeah.
sorry.
Sorry, I'll go again.
Gonna have to
I
learn
was-
how to rally a
You
sword.
say it may be a problem for the future. I was wondering how long Quelor might have left to live because he seemed old, but I honestly have no idea.
Lyra, you can make this would be Arcana for you,
Sure.
or History, whichever you prefer.
Arcana. Oh, apparently I know no shit either because I got a natural.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay, I will say there is
Great.
innate knowledge that you have that elves.
Try again later.
You have the innate knowledge that elves obviously have their lengthened lifespan that goes to about 700 years or so. He obviously looked much older than that. From your understanding, there are magics that have allowed elves to live longer. You don't know any of them. They're not your particular area of expertise. Although, actually, no, you would have advantage on this because dragons are one of your favorite enemies, aren't they?
They are, yes.
Then you have advantage because this is pertaining to dragon.
This will probably still be bad, but there we go.
Who really hates dragon?
Oh no,
You know how-
I am able to discern
24
the
this time.
Yeah. So what you do know is you do have some knowledge about the Drasmak as a entity and how the bonding of dragons to elves can extend the lifespan. Effectively, anyone who is bonded to a dragon is immortal, in that they do not die of old age. They are susceptible to sword and disease that can kill them, but to general old age does not touch them. So
Did you just say that it was allergic to salt?
no.
Basically,
Yes,
you know
it's
what? I think
He's
everyone
immortal.
is.
Bar being unimmortal.
You're immortal if you
Well,
put
they
some
sort of
sharp.
become-
He can't die to old age effectively, but he can be stabbed.
He's just got to be really careful not to like stub his toe really hard.
And he's got one
Roast
weak point.
him.
He's got one pinky toe that
Yeah.
like Tolkien version elves,
kind of.
where they can be killed or they could get really sad, but that's about it.
Really sad.
It does actually say that Tolkien, that the elves, they can die of a broken heart. Yeah.
Yes. He will live a long time. The fact that he said he lived for millennia suggests that he has been old.
Old as balls.
Looked like one too.
Yeah.
Testicle with teeth.
I will relay this information to the rest.
Thanks, Deadpool.
Avocado.
That is not ideal, but it's better than the world ending. And if we can come to some kind of settlement, maybe they won't cause trouble again.
Besides, we kind of need to find out if the gods would do it, because if they don't, then we don't really have a choice.
Yes, we should maybe have an idea of what we're proposing. My thought is that the island formerly inhabited by Medusa is now vacant. Perhaps they would agree to grant that to Quellar's his domain.
Doesn't she come back? Because we didn't kill her in
We
hell.
cut her head off.
We didn't kill her in hell though, and I think she goes down into the abyss and then
That's kind of conflating the law with devils. But
I read it.
in principle, yes, Medusa is one of the sort of ancient myth. So she does respawn eventually. But it does take her a long time to
You know
regenerate.
what? I think they'll live happily ever after.
Together.
Together. Have a lovely garden full of statues. And
Don't ever look at her.
no, it's just fine.
I love you, but I can't look at you.
I just love to hate you.
I somehow doubt that Quello would be satisfied with one fairly small island that's a certain amount of it has been turned to rock.
It's got a lovely view.
See you.
Lovely garden.
And it was mobile. He would not be stuck in one location.
I mean, he's got a massive dragon, fairly mobile with himself.
I think.
Do you have a
I-
suggestion as to where we might offer him?
I do
don't think
wonder
any-
whether
Well,
I do wonder whether if he gets back into this world, dragon will suddenly die because it's now used to the gravity of the astral sea, or the lack of gravity, and the sudden exposure to gravity in like the real world will just be too much for a dragon that size, and it will spontaneously die. But somehow I doubt
Be
it.
highly
You know what?
unfortunate.
We tried to help. We didn't know what would happen. Whoops.
That would still be problem solved, though, wouldn't it?
Yeah, kind of two birds, one stone.
Yeah.
The phrase at this point is no bugger.
And the pact has been completed.
Shortly followed by, oh no!
No.
Anyway, time to go and kill the rest of the army.
Yeah. I honestly don't know anywhere big enough that I think might satisfy him after being in a plane of nothing. You'd want to just like have everything.
Get him a dog.
Do you know any nice dogs?
Find one.
I mean,
I've
they're
been
all
expensive,
frozen.
you.
You probably just pick
Just pick one up.
one out. Take
This
it
one
out.
looks nice.
This one looks fluffy. We think you like that? Yeah.
All of the dogs. The
Have we
Isle
heard this
of
brings
Dogs.
you eternal happiness?
Yes.
Why don't we just put all the dogs in this
Straight
actual
line,
page?
pointing different sides.
All the dogs through the back. Up to. There we go.
You get all the dogs to sit there and just go, ready? Fetch.
Yeah, rather
And all of a sudden
than
these dogs just like,
Yeah, same thing with what Tom said. Gravity.
you could get used to.
watch a spaniel as it jumps in its ear, it just starts going,
Yeah, but in the actual play, can you not do what we're doing now and like
yeah.
think you
Dogs
might?
have the intelligence.
Oh,
Station.
You'd be surprised.
Do you know,
how you probably learn.
I have a sneaking suspicion you're not holding this in the regard that I've set this campaign up to end.
Really?
I think you
With
might. I'm
puppies.
being deadly serious.
We've also got all those things that Lyra likes to mount on all the walls. Decorate the place a little bit.
Zhuzh it up.
Look at this is everyone else who stood in our way to remind you not to fuck with us anymore. Lyra's like, yep, see that big stag head over there? Yep, I killed that.
I killed that.
That was a mythical being.
I killed
And
it.
I shot it.
Well, I did kill it, and then I had a conversation with it later.
Yeah,
Maybe you could do the same thing with Quella.
just be like,
Just
dude,
Kill him and then have a
Then
go.
have a
you
conversation.
Oh yeah, so you're going to turn Lyra into like Emperor Claudius, have him just talking to his dead counselors.
I mean, you've already got an army and held as queen in the fire plane.
It could happen. Never say
You're
never.
already halfway
I
there.
reckon I saw that character going in.
Guidance.
Dogs.
Dog, or you're getting the dog plan.
Imagine. You know what? One
We-
day I'm going to have a character where everyone pats the dog and they get inspiration.
A barred dog.
What tuning?
Sorry, Tom?
What tuning forks do we have?
You have one for each of the planes that you had visited before. I believe you did find one for Olympus as well.
I was just wondering about. Is it worth just like plane shifting to Olympus?
Yeah, wife, pray. You can just kick down the door.
Just get the-
Just be rude as shit.
Hi, honey. Oh.
I've come to bargain.
So
Or I'm
we're
leaving this one.
fine, you're not sure how prayers
Sorry, Tom, I missed that entirely because Zoom didn't pick up the levels.
I feel like the prayers might be frozen in time as well and not reach anyone.
True. They might be looking down at us right now and we
Currently
can still be
engaged.
frozen. Please hold.
Your call is important to us.
Our lines are busy at the
You
moment.
are 1,642nd in the queue.
All of our operators are busy, but we will get to you when one is available. Gee, thanks. Your call is important. I know, stop telling me that and just answer the call.
At least the whole music should be
Welcome to the
angelic.
Olympus hotline.
That's wonderful. Potion
Excuse me.
Okay.
Yeah, I was only stuck in my throat.
Do you want to drink? We'll talk. We'll carry on talking
Well,
about.
We'll just talk over.
We'll- yeah, we'll
I'm
carry
gonna
on.
make comments to
One
make
second.
that.
We'll just carry on talking about barred dogs. I didn't want to be a dog though. They've done the whole thing where like the dogs have the classes. I was going to be one.
The
Yeah.
support things, yeah.
Yeah, but like you are.
I
a
had one of
character.
those, but I gave it away because I couldn't look after it.
No, not in the support. Like you are, but you are the main character. You are a dog.
Yeah, Dungeons and Doggos.
No, it's not called that.
No.
Is it?
I mean,
I can't remember. But
I believe it was called that actually, the RPG.
But yes, barred dog. You pat, you get
You feel good.
inspiration.
Anyway, so
We're going to Olympus. Or
So-
Celestia.
So far we've got island or dogs.
Island dogs.
Dungeons and Keys.
okay. We need to wait for Cedric to come back because he's on the plane shift.
Nah, just use it.
Just-
Ninth level.
Cedric has used his 9th level spell slot already. In fact, Cedric has already used up his 6th and 9th.
Pardon.
8th level plane shift that is, then we should get it really quickly.
And a lot of us.
Because Cedric used a
And a
gate
dog.
to get you guys into Maymore, and then he used plane shift to get you back from.
True. True. Very true.
Good news is, once you got everything done, you can just go back through the bag, and you're there.
In the name of God. Because I have the champ points to do it.
You're gonna name a god.
Yep.
Nice.
Oh dear. It seems like it's probably not going to go well for me. Disable comment in the chat. Just going to boot here.
I got it in.
Dog, dog. It's called Dog, dog.
Dog dog.
Dog.
What's dog dog?
What's a dog? Ooh, boy.
So,
No.
plan to offer Quella some up dog.
No, you have to do
I do.
it. With the sort of smile.
Yeah, I'll kill that dog, dog.
Dog dog with the
All the smiles get headed.
for dog dog forever smiling.
What is 9 zeros? Is that a billion?
Yes.
Really? Sapaloy, I've moved it as much as I can.
Sorry, bruh.
Thank God one of us is slimmer.
I was going to say,
It's not me.
All right.
I've named a god.
dog, dog.
Dog dog.
God of what?
Dogs.
Oh, fair enough.
Doggos. I don't. Do you know? I think dogs is one of the only things that isn't specifically mentioned in
Well, there
Greek
you go.
mythology.
Dogs.
So there isn't. I don't believe
I've
there is a
expanded
Greek
your fan. Yeah.
god of dogs.
Yeah, there is.
What?
It's called Dog Dog. It's
Well, it
canon
would just
now.
come under animals, wouldn't it?
Well,
I mean, there was the what was
God is just dog
goddess of
backwards.
animals. Goddess of animals.
there are
Not
also-
really many gods of animals at all in Greek mythology.
There's
I've had the channel
nature.
points to fix this, Tom. Don't worry.
They might come.
Right history.
They might come under Artemis because you'd use hunting dogs, wouldn't you?
That's true. They are maybe one of their
Or
patrons.
just nature. Dogs and animals and nature.
Yeah, dog.
That's how things work.
Dogs are people too.
They are.
Apologies, everyone. We're not normally this disjointed.
We are.
Well, we are, but
But we are. We're just never together to do it.
Special occasion.
it's a lot easier when I can just individually mute people.
It's just nicer to actually be able to hear people. The thing I think they said.
Yeah.
Dom starts talking, Mike cuts out. Remember when Jared's mic used to be silent for the first
Yes.
10 seconds and then
Then
come on.
yeah,
Oh, them good old days.
Yeah.
the good old days of only, what, 3 months ago?
Yeah.
It feels like a long time ago.
Ross has said, okay to the plane shift.
That was only the second lockdown, man. We're in the 5th now.
So, with that plan decided that you are going to be plane shifting to Olympus, yes,
Sure.
you gather round Cedric.
Old hands.
Old
singing
hands.
Magic words.
And Cedric cast Plane Shift using whatever level spell Cedric deems appropriate to aiming
The
for
lowest level possible.
Yeah.
As a cantrip.
Just as casting a lot.
aiming for Mount Olympus.
We arrive on Mars.
We arrive in Mount Olympus.
Yeah.
You die.
Dig your way out.
As you arrive and you pass through you feel yourselves passing through the various barriers that are surrounding the world, you find yourselves now in the familiar surroundings at the foot of the stairs leading up to the Chamber of the God, the large amphitheatre where all 12 of the major thrones are.
Oh yes, we've been here before.
You have been here before, yes.
Have we got a peacock next to us as we land?
Make a perception check.
14.
No peacock.
Oh, okay, cool. Yeah.
You just hear a whatever. Whatever a peacock sounds like.
Yeah, yeah.
There you go.
I remember that he could do a good
I
one,
wasn't
so-
sure who it was, but I knew someone had
It was
a good
me.
one. It was Luke.
Of course it
He who hangs out the zoo too much, apparently.
They happen to partly got those peacocks, haven't they?
He's a
It's
special
your
kid.
unwanted manner, it's fine.
They're his friends.
It's got to get that DM practice in somewhere.
You'll listen to my voices, right?
Yell at the peacocks. In peacock.
Hang
They
on,
just turn around
hang
and go,
Surely running any D&D game is like trying to herd cats.
Not peacocks.
Just imagine Luke going all the way to somewhere like Sweden just for DM practice. Now repeat after me. Yoo-hoo. Yoo-hoo. Hey, star, Luke. Well done.
you have now graduated to Gundermere.
You get an NPC when you leave. You are now Gundermere.
You go to Swedish acting school.
Yes. So why are you here? Oh, I have a big favourite of dramatic arts. Really
Oh.
trying to stand up to my dear.
So the guy who does the voice for the Swedish chef on the office just wasn't quite good enough to be a DM.
Not quite.
To be fair, he mastered puppetry at the same time. He was understudy with the, it was his underdegree, and then he mastered in puppetry.
Excuse me.
But anyway, so you are at the base of the steps with the general lightness and airiness that you do find in Olympus. There are individuals that are sat about having picnics and singing and doing the usual things. They are still moving.
Oh, you answered my question.
Okay, they are still moving.
They seem awfully jovial for a being that's about to get wiped out.
You get the sense that these individuals have absolutely no idea what is going on in the mortal world.
Oh,
Wait to
no.
tell them.
Hey, guess what?
You're gonna die.
You're gonna die soon.
You know how you've been led to believe that you're immortal beings.
Are there any gods visible from where we are?
No.
Oh, well, isn't
Start
that...
start climbing the stairs then.
You climb the stairs.
Instead of an elevator.
Takes you about half an hour or so, but you do get your steps in. There's a long.
Yeah,
step.
definitely an escalator needed,
Yeah.
please.
Or is it one of those places that only has an escalator going in but not coming out? So we'll welcome you. You will leave stairs with all your bags.
Gift shop.
As you ascend, you find yourself in the familiar throne room with the U-shaped of thrones of males on one side, females on the other. Zeus, Hera,
It's like
At the
every
end.
American school disco.
except for one, where there is an extra one for, except for one of the thrones on the female side is for Dionysus, because there was an even number of gods and he turned up, so he ruined it.
He-
Bastard.
Yeah. He does what he wants.
At the centre there is the burning hearth and a sort of young woman sort of generally tending to it. You recognise this as Hestia, goddess of the hearth, who you have not spoken to before, but you have been present when you have been here previously. You also see that there is Apollo sat upon his throne.
Oh, rap battle guy.
Yes.
Yes. Also known as Pat's dad.
Who faced him in the rap battle?
Kalatar.
The one that could talk.
Yes.
The one that does not want to talk.
This is
And who do we need to do talking now? Charismatic person.
I'm not very charismatic.
I'm
I think I might
really
have
not.
sex ties.
Think.
Minus one.
I think yours was higher than Kafina's. That was her main spell casting ability roll.
Plus
Oh,
5.
yeah.
Yeah, yours was higher than Kafina's.
Skeleton's is plus
There
one.
was some poor choices made.
I mean,
Yours
if
is
we-
plus 5.
Yeah.
So we're equally as charismatic.
Yeah.
No, Calatar is more persuasive and
Oh yeah.
My stats
Deceitful.
are hooch.
And better at
Oh, you are.
Oh yeah, your
Jack of all.
persuasion's
well,
ridiculous.
also expertise.
My persuasion is plus 17.
It's higher than my athletic. Well done.
So
Actually, I was starting going near.
Apollo is
My roll to hit, maybe.
yeah damage.
Yeah, damn. Yes, smite.
Apollo is
Smite is
back there tuning his lute.
Is that a euphemism? Or...
No.
Right.
Physically just.
Ding, ding, ding.
Oh, Stringberg.
I would like to go over to Hessia. Would I know who she is?
Yeah, you'd have an understanding of who Estia is. You have what?
Hessia, that's the type of sack, isn't it?
Was it not what it was?
Estia.
Good job, I didn't shout that out loud, wasn't
Yeah,
it?
You're mixing it up with
Slightly get disrespectful in her house.
you're mixing it up with Hestia, goddess of sax.
Hestia.
Estia, yes.
Sorry, I got you mixed up with that. Oh, my God.
the heavenly bag lady.
Yes.
Mixed up with your sister.
Oh, actually, we need to talk to her about the bag.
Okay. Hi, my name's Lisa. I don't know if the thing you talked about me were either best or friends, but we're just wondering where all the gods and goddesses are because we really need to talk to them. And downstairs is frozen, and I don't know if you know about that, but you look really crazy here. I'm just gonna warm my hands by the fire and just like.
Please, by all means, warm yourself. My family are attending to various matters. I think they've probably noticed what's going on in the mortal world, as I have. As you're looking at her, she has a very young face. She looks like she's maybe 15, 16 or so. Sort of curly brown hair. A little bit of soot just across her hands and her face from just tending to the fire. But quite beautiful. She says, but I believe if my nephew is anything to go by, she looks over to Apollo, they should all be here soon.
That is very good to know.
If not, I can get Hermes to round them up if you would like.
I mean, if you're off doing something that might be a bit more important than this.
They can focus in multiple directions
Yeah,
at
we'll
once.
go and have a chat with
Very time-sensitive topic.
maybe we'll go and have a chat with Apollo and just see kind of what they're doing. But if maybe given Hermes a nod.
Hermes! And suddenly just a snake
Yeah.
rises its way up and just sort of pokes its head up. Nods. And Hestia looks down. If you could summon everyone, there is some mortals here to see everyone.
Some mortals.
They're the ones that ticked off here.
Not
That
everyone.
was one of us.
The snake looks at you, smirks, which is weird on a snake.
It's like that one from Jungle Book.
Yeah. Nods and then disappears.
That was one of us, and
Then was occupied.
here.
Thanks.
No problem. Let me know how it goes.
Thanks. Thank you very much. I turn around and go back to it.
Okay.
Don't worry, Laura. We could definitely take on one of them.
One of them. I'll take on the snake.
I was going to take on the 16-year-old girl. Who would definitely choke me to death with one.
I was saying,
Yeah.
it's the auntie of Apollo.
Yeah.
So who would like to go talk to Apollo? Because I just had a weird snake grin at me, and now I'm a little scared.
Maybe we should just wait. Let's cut the awkward encounters in half and just stop there.
Do you think they've got a,
If
do you
we-
think they've got
if we-
a bar around it?
I'm sure
If we could get Apollo on our side, ahead of the rest, he could be persuasive on our behalf.
I mean, we can always try, but I don't know. From what I can remember, how was Apollo after we beat his ass?
He fucked Skeletor, so
yeah,
he did.
after we lyrically abused
Yeah.
him, he then actually abused Skeletor.
I was saying, he got laid.
So good.
Yeah, he's
Okay.
he gets on with you guys.
Got it on with that guy, at least.
I take 3 steps towards Apollo from where we are.
Ding, ding, ding.
Sup, my brother.
Apollo stops the subtle turning on the lutes
I can just see after they're like,
and turns.
Just picked up a random glass of wine.
yeah, isn't there a chair that normally has a barrel of wine next to it?
Yeah, Dionysus.
Yeah, I'm just going to go and take that and offer a glass.
If you pick up the barrel, you try to pick up the barrel, it doesn't move.
Well, has it got a tap at the bottom?
Yeah.
Can I have a little... I fill up my blasting horn, put my thumb on the end.
Blast it around.
It's nice.
Oh.
Just sit there.
Mira is standing with her eyes closed, muttering, "We're going to die."
He looks around and goes,
Hope they kill Kel.
Yes, Kenneth. No.
It's all right, Anton.
Oh, darling, please, you've never forgotten this boy's name.
Don't stop that. Don't stop that.
Dance off.
It's Sunday, what? So,
How have you been?
nice
I was
weather we're
literally about to
having.
say that.
Nice weather we're having.
So, you've probably noticed there's some very strange shit going on the material plane.
Yes, I was enjoying a symphony that was being done, and then it got stuck on an F minor chord, and it was where it ended, and it was just
Sorry, where was this symphony being played?
somewhere in Fiaros. I don't quite remember where. I think the Grove, maybe.
No. Okay, that answers a question of the fact that the time stop we found ourselves in is slightly less contained than we thought it was. So that's bad.
Just.
Good, bad, maybe.
So, from what you can see, this has happened. How many people have stopped?
Oh, all of Fiaros.
All of the others. Anywhere else?
No.
Okay.
Just Fiaros.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Okay. Do you know why?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I have premonitions coming through that might give reason to this, but they are far too complicated for mortals to understand.
I have an intelligence of 20. Try me.
I was saying, do I believe him?
Make an insight check.
Can I do it as well?
Sure.
Oh, that was terrible. 11.
27.
28. Just for mild curiosity, not that I'm going to challenge him on it.
Apollo is inscrutable.
Just like, oh no, he beat. Okay, he just does it.
Yeah, he just.
I choose to be that man.
When he says this, Kevin sounds like a
I'll try. Would you like to try break it down for us, Mim?
No. I think it's something I'll discuss with my father. Although, if you have any information that might help shed light on matters, I would not be adverse to it.
What do we get in return?
Round 2.
Okay, I'm all out of ideas.
How long do you? I know Esty has told Hermes to go and get them, but what are they actually doing right now?
Panicking, I imagine.
Oh, okay.
That's concerning.
Why would the gods be panicking?
As you say that, there is a sudden big divine flash of light as every single chair is suddenly filled with
terrifying.
a god.
I need, I
Their
would.
respective gods.
Can I make a
Nothing
con
says
save to make sure I don't shit myself?
Yes, make a constitution saving throw.
Oh, I'm
So
doing
nearly
that.
a one. No, not
I'm
for one.
really not good.
Twice.
Hold on. Where's my saves? Oh no. Where are my saves? There they are. Oh, thank God it's the 16.
16, okay.
That's a good modifier.
You managed to not poo yourself quite so much. A little almost comes out.
We'll check it later.
But you are suddenly
Worry about that later.
you can suddenly all feel that divine pressure that you get from a single god, now multiplied by 12.
Incredibly powerful.
Yeah.
I need some sunglasses. I'm gonna put my eagle goggles down and just
I use my visor
I can
slightly.
see.
I pick out my loot. Dum, 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 dum.
No.
Under pressure.
As much as I can get away with.
Zeus looks from the head of his throne and sees the lot of you down there and goes,
Wow.
Yeah, normally I wouldn't, but all of them at once is a bit much.
he looks at you and you notice, all of you, even though you're bowing, you do notice a very quick sideways glance towards Hera before he looks back at you and sort of composes himself and
What? Oh.
No.
No.
I considered it.
He's not here.
I considered it,
Yeah.
decided it was probably a bad idea, and left.
Yes.
Someone didn't.
yes.
Hence a peacock followed us and
That's my
messed up the blimp.
So, mortals who dare step upon Olympus that I have never met before.
You forget us so quickly.
I come into contact with many a mortal. If I've forgotten who you are, I apologize.
At least you apologise.
I understand you are the only mortals from Fiaros who are still moving.
That is the same understanding that we have.
Why is this?
We were kind of hoping you might help us
Because-
understand this situation.
It might be because we're on a different plane of existence at the time the spell seems to have been cast.
What
We
they
just
said.
appeared in Piaros after time stopped, and we don't really know why it stopped.
It's probably to do with the deal we struck with a very old entity.
Oh yeah, that would probably be it.
Just thought we'd get straight to it.
Yeah, let's just jump straight into that.
What deal?
Well, nothing's been struck yet. It's kind of 50-50. Either we have a discussion and come to a careful, informed decision, or we all go back and murder an ancient dragon and its rider.
Someone by the name of Quellen.
Crystal Dragon.
Quellor.
Quello. Crystal Dragon.
I knew
Names
so-
always
You tried.
difficult.
You tried.
It's close to the bottom.
But, yeah,
That's why
I
said
just-
dragon.
I just
I mean-
knew Crystal Dragon.
I
Well,
thought I
what's
would
the-
remember names, Kenneth.
Quellor was the elf Angst was the dragon.
Angst, yeah. Like a teenager.
That's what I felt when it was flying towards me. Angst.
Angsty.
Explain from the beginning.
Well,
So I was born.
my mum and dad had a
I am
really
not
nice
in
night.
the mood.
And
I
then
will
I died.
smite you with lightning bolts. Get to the point.
My good friend Kellis, I will explain everything.
Oh God.
I explain everything.
Okay.
No.
I mean, that was literally what I was going to say.
Yeah,
again.
yeah.
Because I don't remember. We went for a bag, we started talking to a dragon, and then we ended up back here and everything stopped. Obviously, more detail than that. But
You explain what actually happened.
thank you.
If you want to find out what that was, check out our previous D&D adventuring party
That's what we're
on
explaining.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah, we tell Zeus just check the VOD.
Yeah.
Just watch back and watch.
Zeus looks thoughtfully into his beard and what?
Thoughtfully into his beard.
I just imagine he's got his beard like this. And he's like,
Yeah, it's like,
No, it's that he's chin on his chest and he's looking down, but he's got such a big beard, it's just there.
do you mean like thoughtfully, like towards his chest, his feet,
Yeah, but he's just got
Rather not-
he's just got
rather than staring into his beard as if it's like some sort of all-seeing crystal
Then you got a
ball?
magic 8 ball.
That's a magic 8
Just shakes it a little bit. Try again later.
An item for next campaign.
Yeah.
Beard of Scrying.
Beard of
If you've got
scrying.
enough channel points.
I do have enough channel points. I am claiming it now.
a beard of scrying.
Name generator.
You know what? You're going to be the magic item creator. If you want to create a beard of scrying, you go ahead.
you pay for it, you make
I
it.
can't believe they got away with it.
So, an entity who was banished through the magic of Bahamut wants to get out of that magic,
He's got an awful long way to achieve it.
Yes.
but he can't leave because we as the gods are not able to do such a undo a magic of another god. So what would you have us do?
You know Bahamut?
Yes.
Have you got their phone number? Or their fax
Set of
address?
sending stone.
You know what? Sometimes a WhatsApp's just as nice.
A tuning fork, maybe?
Pigeon?
Bahamut cannot undo their own magic.
So from what you're saying, almighty god of everything, that this dragon rider and their dragon are shit out of luck.
It seems that what you want us to do is not necessarily possible. That is not to say we can't do something else.
And what might that be?
He looks over at Hephaestus. You recognize the sort of craggy old form.
The guy that had us go through his mountain of death.
Yes, yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, the mountain of death.
Killed massively.
Yes.
Hephaestus looks over towards you and says, we can't undo what has been done by gods, but what he wants, by the sound of what you've described, is for the material plane to be separate from others, which we could theoretically do. It would cause a backlash of the energies that have been transposed over the material plane, and we could channel those energies into his demi-plane and create a new material plane that he could roam about in, isolated.
But won't the separation of the planes bring him through anyway? Because was that not his plan in the first place?
His was when they conjoined,
Oh.
but by severing the bonds, they would recoil like elastic.
And just ricochet through. Okay. But you're saying
But we
to
could then take those-
separate them.
we could then take those points and funnel those energies into that domain, potentially.
That sounds like it's
Maybe.
that sounds as if it meets most of what he desired. And if that's within your powers, it
Not quite. We could sever the planes, but we would not be able to contain the energy. And rampant energy like that would destroy everything else. And I'm sure my brother would much rather see a war happen. He looks over towards Ares, who nods, shrugs.
Yeah.
We would. Now, Father, don't throw me off the mountain. Yeet! That wasn't Zeus, that was him. Don't throw him off the mountain. We would need other gods. The other pantheon. He looks pointedly at Asher.
Hello.
We answer well.
You do so well. How's that eye doing?
One eye.
Zeus puts his face in his hands. See no other solution. Do any of you have any other suggestions? He looks almost in hope at Athena, who just looks back, looks at you, and looks up and says, I see no fault in my brother's logic. It would be the best solution to meet all the requirements, shy of having a full-on war and we having to get involved ourselves. And even that has a low probability of success. I would second Hephaestus's plan, but obviously we would need an envoy to go and speak with the Aesir and get that ball rolling.
everyone is now looking at Asher, aren't they?
Even I'm like,
The entire pantheon stares
what
at
were you
you.
staring at?
They're sort of looking at each other and trying to sort of get confirmation. Zeus says,
Nobody else has Odin's number.
Zeus says,
It's not in my phone book.
very well, we have a second. Does anyone object to the plan, or are we all in agreement? He looks around. There's one hand goes up, and unsurprisingly, it is Ares, who would prefer the bloody war.
Of course.
But everyone else seems to be happy with this particular iteration and this plan. They all raise their hands in agreement. Zeus says, keeps looking at Ares until eventually he goes,
Or Ares. Yeah, for sure.
What is bullied into it?
He's had
Sure.
lots of fighting already.
right, then the Council of Olympus is unanimous. We will need to get Hecate involved for the magic. Is there anything else that we would need, Hephaestus? Well, you already have 8 fragments that can contain planar energies. We can channel what's left into those. We already have most of the energies contained within them, then we can transport those in, then break them apart, and it will seed that plane. That should work.
Is he saying we need to go and fight the other ones? Is that what he's saying?
Still can hear you anyway.
We can still hear you.
Clarification.
Yes.
Do you want us to go and get the rest of them?
In theory, it shouldn't be necessary.
Thank you.
Thank the gods.
In theory, we would need to use the keys that you have created, the prisms, as foci to around the extraplanar areas to channel it back in. It will act like a vacuum. It will suck all the planar energy in and break that bond. But as I say, we will need to then disperse it and break it apart back in his dimension.
Okay.
And that should be enough to create at least a parallel entity.
May I speak?
You may, chosen of Artemis.
This does seem a very wise solution to the issue of the enormous dragon of unknown power. It doesn't actually explain why time has stopped. I still don't understand why that happened.
Yeet.
Yeah. Is that a 1?
I hope it's a 7, but I think it's a 1.
It's a 1. It's a floor dice. Better.
It couldn't be worse.
That we think will have to be in the domain of Hecate to explain. She may have, and at that point there is another flash of fire as a smaller god, but still quite imposing. Female goddess, she steps forward with sort of jet black hair tied back into a ponytail, a staff in her hand, and seemingly a great power of entity. You've each seen a statue of Hecate in your time. Usually it's the one which has the 3 faces facing different directions. You've seen her as the particular patron goddess of Nexus. And she says, I do think I have an understanding of why time has frozen. It seems to be a great, powerful magic that was leaking out from an artifact of some sort, but the artifact itself has moved. She looks over to Kelatar.
I handed it to you. You're holding a bomb.
Wait, what?
Oh,
Wait,
That
what?
seems to be the source of it.
The bag.
The bag.
The bag.
The bag.
More likely what's within it.
That would be my summary. Sorry, I have been listening. I've just been busy.
That's fine. We'd rather not catch you up.
the entity that we were talking with
Is
is in the.
Yes, no, I gathered. Yes, it seems that they cast a very large time stop across the entirety of that continent.
I think we did well not to fight it.
I think we would have.
Seems a little bit
Dies.
unfair if the fucker can stop time everywhere.
Yes, but does he have a beard of scrying?
Not anymore.
We shaved it off.
It's his source of power. And a leather here, a long beard.
he was beardless last time we saw him.
That then would suggest, well, at least gives us a reason as to why the magic has stopped. And yes, I believe, Skyfather, that I can at least channel a spell that would break the planes apart. And as you say, Hephaestus, we will need to channel those energies into the prisms that you have and rebuild a new world within that demi-plane. I agree that we will need assistance, though, and we will need the other pantheon. I stand by what Hephaestus has said. Although you're on recording anyway, so I don't know why I'm saying this, I'm just backing it up. So I can set about doing what I need to. We just need the others, otherwise it's going to be a point
You
of
need them
endeavor.
here.
neutral ground.
Day
might
trip
be better.
somewhere, maybe.
We can go over the plans with the others in a neutral setting. I don't want them to.
I've just got a picture
misunderstand.
of all of them in our base having awkward tea.
Yes!
In Alfheim.
Yeah,
I
in
want it.
Alfheim,
It's gonna
in the
happen.
base,
No,
with
sorry.
like tiny cups of
It
tea.
would be like the shot after the Avengers where they're all sat in the shawarma. They're just eating, but no one's saying anything. It's just so weird.
I was thinking more the meeting in Game of Thrones where they first introduced the whites to
Yes.
to the
Yeah.
south. And they're in that open air
Oh, yeah.
well, I'm going home. Bye.
The weirdest.
So if you could bring them and we can meet them in
I will
a.
chat with the entirety of another panel.
No, I wasn't meaning you specifically, but thank you for volunteering.
Oh,
And we can bring them to.
Where's a nice open space that can house all of them?
In the middle of our street.
We can meet them on Hellas Gracia. That seems to be the. Well, no, Caradon is the most neutral of the grounds. That's Gracia is where I'm from. We can have a discussion there and find out where it's going. So if you would.
yes. Does anyone know how to get there? No.
We're counting on you for that.
Can you help with the transportation or?
I sense that you have the ability to just ask for it.
I was kind of really saving that, if I'm completely honest.
No, I mean, you are one of his chosen. You could just speak to him.
Yeah, rely on my religious ability.
I'm praying for you.
We'll be like your backup prayers, like backup singers, but backup prayers.
Cheerleading squad.
name.
Hey, cheerleading squad will be fine. I can wave 4 pom-poms at once.
So what are you doing?
I will try and have an attempt to pray to Odin.
Make a religion check.
You just go do it right in the middle of
Right
this
in the
pantheon.
middle of
Yes.
one moment.
What? Please hold.
I will
Like,
guide
gonna-
you.
Using your charisma instead of your intelligence.
Yeah, Cedric is guidancing by
Guidance, you have a default.
slapping.
I was going to say, can you multiple guidance or just
Oh,
guidance
no.
once?
You're going to be effective once, unfortunately.
Oh dear.
No, that's
That maybe helps.
When
I do
I
fall
think
as
when
well.
Kalatar said guidance, I think he probably meant inspiration.
Oh, okay, that was my D10 for.
Yeah, I know that was your D10 for.
What's your size of your dice?
D12.
Strong, my loot.
And a D4.
Oh, and a
Halfway
D4.
there.
Oh, wow!
So
That's 14 on the dice, dear.
That's not bad.
with all of them.
That's a D20, a D10, a D12, and a D4.
Yes.
5 plus proficiency, so plus 11.
Oh, that's okay.
25.
25. Okay, that's
Okay,
that's not
okay.
bad.
In the end.
We burnt a lot of resources to get there, but yeah.
Fine.
It's all right. I've got several more.
It's hard when you're in a different pantheon.
Yeah, you get that sense.
Yeah, yeah. When you're trying to yes, I'm the champion of Odin. I'll call him right now, and it's just ringing.
It's like you're going through a really rough line.
Yeah.
You're breaking
I'm
up.
in a tunnel. Just the tunnel happens to be Mount Celestia. It's really hard to get signal at the highest point ever.
It's always Greek signal what's happening.
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah.
I'm on a
Don't get through.
different carrier.
Okay, you sit and you.
Jesus Christ.
No, you're not going to get him with that
God,
hole.
The D10 was good.
Yeah,
Oh,
that was
higher.
just saving grace.
Yeah, I
You're
agree.
higher on the D10 than you did anyone else.
I agree
Oh,
with Dom. We should
right.
probably be
No, yeah.
involving
On
less.
the D10, I got a
pantheons.
7. And on the
Sorry,
four,
Ross, I cannot hear what you're saying.
I was just agreeing with Dom. We should probably be involving less pantheons and not,
Yeah.
not including Jesus Christ in this as well.
You
Also,
never know.
I'm just
he
gonna
might
step.
be a really nice guy.
I'm just going to step away for a few minutes. I'll be back in a few.
Okay.
Okay.
See you in a sec.
Well, we can take this moment to go for a break, and we can come
Yeah,
back.
we'll give Asher some time to
That's some time to think about what she's going to
channel.
say.
Improve upon.
So we'll take a break, and we will come back in a moment. So make sure we go to the right screen, and we shall see you very shortly. And we are back. So, as Asher, you reach out into the void and you stretch your mind towards Odin. The connection isn't as instant as you would like.
Odin. You're breaking up.
All father, hello, all father. All father, 1, 2.
Can you hear me?
Gotta hold it up higher.
Can you hear
No,
me?
just turn the phone upside down.
But as you eventually feel that connection slammed, what would you like to say, Odin?
Are you there?
Hello.
Hello again, are you there? It's me, Margaret.
I am currently on Mount Celestia with
Olympus.
Sorry,
Forget some words.
with a different pantheon, and Zeus has specifically stated that, and I quote, "He will need your help to achieve peace in our time, and that you would be a very influential part of a plan to save the world. Would you be willing to lend your help to him in his hour of need?"
That is on the borderline of deception, isn't it?
I mean, that is exactly what he has said. He needs your help.
Just get to the end where it's like, beep, you've run out of space.
Please try again later.
Make a
No.
persuasion check.
I've already used my D10.
Roll a different die.
Can I
did.
can I do guidance?
No. This is an internal prayer.
Okay.
Bam!
Yes!
Total
Now
of
it was indecision. 25.
25. Okay.
Natural 20.
Yes, I can see it.
Oh, I didn't know. Just telling everyone else. Natural
I nearly
20.
rolled it on there and I was like,
Yeah.
I trusted you one last time. You did not disappoint me.
As you
That's the next one where it's
sit and pray, the rest of you see around Asher a small halo of black feathers just slowly start to materialize and rotate around her form. Just
flexing my religious muscles right now.
all of the gods. 2 ravens suddenly appear within them, just circling around, the 2 ravens of Odin. And as they rise up, they sit upon your shoulders. And as you feel the weight on you, suddenly feel your own consciousness suppressed immensely.
Wow, I've been dominated.
And your
Yes.
head snaps back. The rest of you see this divine light sort of bursting out of her mouth, eye, and ears.
Yeah.
Sort of Doctor Who regeneration.
Yeah. That's not cool.
As far as I'm going.
As the
I somehow feel strong.
you feel nothing at this moment, only a very passive sense of your own body as Odin's voice comes out of your mouth.
I have a lady boner.
I would.
Skyfather. Odin, Zeus looks down at the form. Oh, father. Oh, that hurts.
Celestial thing.
Equal fee.
This is the greatest moment of my life.
I understand. Okay, I think I'm knocking my camera.
Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
No, it was Connor.
Oh,
Ever so slightly.
Godly
you're
foot.
fine. No, you're fine. You're okay.
I understand you need my help.
Just got this image about Anthony Hopkins.
Zeus says, We require you and your ilk to lend a portion of your abilities to help us achieve a common goal.
This is the longest way of saying, yes, I need your help.
Yes, help me, please.
Can I make some kind of insight check or any kind of check to see how much this is hurting?
Yeah.
You don't need to.
Yes!
Everything is clenched. The fact that Poseidon is sat there just watching,
Right. No.
just going. It's like watching a tennis match. All the other gods are just sort of going. Odin smiles. I'm sorry, I didn't quite.
You fuck.
hear.
That's where I get it from.
Yes.
I heard, but just say it again.
Sorry, is Odin talking through Asher?
Yes.
Odin is talking through
Right,
Asher.
okay.
So all the sass is coming through Asher.
Yeah.
With like 10% more sass than Asher usually has.
There's a lot of sass in Asher.
Oh, Zeus sighs and apparently everyone is going to die if we do not work together and solve this problem that one of your followers has led us into.
Fair
Well
comment.
done.
Fair
Well done.
comment. Fair comment. He's got you on that one, Odin. He's got you on that one.
Odin says, we shall deign to help you in this matter. I'm sorry that my son will be riding through what you would normally call your domain, but it's the quickest way for him to get here, being a god of thunder and everything. Where would be best for us to meet to discuss what is happening? Hecate then says, oh, my lord, we would suggest that we meet in the neutral zone that is known as Caradon. If only because then we're only interfering with the domain of the one, and we all know how that pans out, and that's at least fine. Better than us trying to meet in the middle of Jorvik or Hellas Gracia, where one or other of us holds the most sway. Would you not agree? All Father? Sky Father?
Daddy.
I don't actually know off the top of my head what the relationship Hecate has to the other gods. I'm not. That's one link I've never quite worked out.
One of
It's not
those.
good enough.
Don't worry, I don't know anything of the pantheon.
No, just that. One
Zeus.
called Odin.
Zeus says, I agree to this. We shall meet there. And he disappeared to a crack of thunder. Odin turns and looks at the rest of the gods. No, Odin. Bows to each of them.
Asher bows.
I'm just going to take the mortals with me if you don't mind, and snaps his fingers, and the rest of you suddenly flicker out and appear effectively in the middle of a wide open field. But within this field, there is sort of large meadow going across, and there is a deep crevasse that is splitting between what looks to be two continental plates.
Oh, good, it started.
No, this is something that's been around for about 25 years or so.
This is the aftermath of the first campaign.
Yep.
Catch a girl up.
This was before we.
Oh, it's
Before we
before
got
my
time.
time.
25 years BL.
Odin and Zeus are there in their physical forms. They look like humans now at this point. They are shrunk down to your size, but you can get the sense that the two of them are ever so slightly posturing and growing millimeters
Yeah.
and proportionally
Puffing
getting
the chest out.
Doing the screwdriver thing in Doctor Who.
Yes, exactly.
It's the standing there with their arms folded underneath, so it's just pushing the biceps out.
Yeah. Odin has his spear, his Gleipnir, and Odin has the spear of Gleipnir, and Zeus is stood there with just a lightning bolt under his arms, just crackling energy.
I have Shatterfang drawn, just flexes.
Oh, okay.
You tried.
It's okay.
Zeus looks.
I swear.
Two guards look at each other and are just waiting for someone to speak.
So, you're probably wondering why I brought you all here.
We know exactly why we're here.
Yes, it worked.
Please do tell.
Says Zeus. Odin looks at you, says, well, from what I understand, the Aesir and the Vanir are needed to do something, but perhaps more details would be useful. And Zeus says, the mortals will explain.
Oh.
Yes, tell us that.
I explained, Odin.
Explain to Odin. Odin says, the runestones should be able to help contain that energy as it transfers through. Yes, I believe we can get this to work and make sure it all transposes correctly. Are these terms agreeable with the third party? Or were you planning on just doing it without them?
We could pop in and check.
Yeah, it's probably worth checking.
Hey,
Hello! Anybody there?
At least if he kicks off, we've got two gods here that really fuck him up. Choose your words wisely.
Put the bag in a dimension.
We
in another
brought the daddies of the sky and the land with us. Yeah, Killator will pop in.
Should we just
If you die, I live. Anyone else goes.
Yeah, fair enough.
You fucked my wife.
She walked up on you!
It wasn't your wife.
Gonna be. I was working on it.
You bitch slapped her down and she got angry.
Anyway.
I can finally have it out in person now.
The breakfast of champions then.
Yes, okay, that comment was a little.
I can't wait for this. This has to happen. If this ends good, this has to happen.
Wait for next campaign.
Oh no.
Conflict is resolved. Everyone goes home. Now I make my leave.
So
Cedric also gets dusted as well, so no one can bring him back.
Yeah.
Worth it.
It's not that you drop him in a volcano and just
Confirm the kill.
Always confirm the kill.
Always make sure you see the body.
So,
Sorry.
what are you doing?
We should probably go and talk to.
Go on. What's his name? Very important.
Because with a C.
No.
There's
Q. Quellor.
Quellor, yes.
There we go.
Yes. It wasn't Quellanx. Who was Quellanx?
Angst.
Angst.
Angst. Like, remember the feeling?
I place the bag on the floor.
Yes.
I open the bag. I step into the bag.
Okay, as you step into the bag, you just watch as the two gods vanish, seemingly going to go and do what they need to do.
Oh.
Which is preparing their two
bugger
sides.
Can I go in with Kalatar? I don't like the idea of him going in by himself.
Okay, so you drop in.
No, I'm going with you.
My confidence level's dropped.
Oh, shit.
As you drop through, you see the giant. Hello.
I was just going to say, as Founding sees Kalatar stepping into the bag, can he get back out again on his own?
No. Kalatar's not wise.
Or intelligent.
I mean, he is wise only because of the piece of jewellery that he wears.
Yeah, Lena's smart, but she ain't wise.
Nope, two of them forgot to take a rope.
Not
Aye.
throw a rope. Not holding the other end of it, just a rope.
Yeah, the whole rope goes through, and the portal closes behind them.
Do we need to go in after them?
We kind of have to, I think. Can Cedric plane shift us out before we... You able?
I don't know if I have enough spell slots anymore.
What level is plane shift? Is it
6?
6?
Oh dear.
He's 6 and he's 9. We already discussed this.
Plane shift is level 7, and I have used my level 7 spell slot.
You would have had to have used your 8 to get you to Olympus.
I also have used my 9th at some point, so we now have.
You
no!
You used gate to get you into.
Yes, we've used a lot of bamfing around.
Yes, so you probably were going to want to use a rope to get out.
Okay.
Who wants to stay on the other side with a rope?
Maybe you and I should stay and hang on to the rope, Asher.
That seems wise.
We're the strongest.
Yeah, that seems fair. So we'll tie 100 feet, 200 feet of rope.
That'll be fine.
Yeah.
200 foot of rope.
We only need to pop in.
Okay.
We only need to go through the doorway.
Yeah, well.
Well, you two, whilst they're having this discussion, you two are already in there, in front of the massive dragon and...
See, it didn't take... Yeah, can we just walk in? Just breath is just something... Oh, hi!
The rope slaps it.
Ow!
Jesus!
Slaps in rope.
I have rope.
Quello looks down at you and says,
I want to get in.
well, have you used your time wisely?
So, we met with Zeus and his extended family.
Is this your help action or just nodding?
Yes!
I affirm this.
Yes.
And Leela will correct me if I'm wrong, but they suggested that with a combined use of power of themselves and Odin and his extended family could
In theory.
effectively create, by separating the current planes and the joins that have been created, could effectively create another material plane
By channeling the energy through the crystals that we had gotten to defeat your bad guys, but that's in the past now, and we use the energy to send into your domain to create a whole new world for you.
and you alone.
I mean, might make people don't know.
Make a persuasion check with disadvantage because of the people fighting.
You murdered your friends, and
They were pawns.
They were pawns, yes. He doesn't really. But you were getting in his way.
16.
The other one's not. But that still makes a total of 26.
Okay.
Can you not inspire yourself?
No.
At Law Bard, yes, you can.
At this level?
I think it's this level you
Yeah.
can.
I'm pretty sure you said last time that
It's not that high.
I think it's high. I think it is. Good.
I can never remember.
Ross, I did see your comment in the chat. I chose to ignore it until now.
What?
No, not in that chat. In the Twitch
Yeah, no,
chat.
I know.
It was the you and you, is when I said you and your ilk.
Yeah,
You responded with
make
you
you
and your
blunder.
ilk.
yeah, you can.
I will. Okay. So D12.
Yeah, it's fine. It's fine.
So that's 29.
That's still good.
Okay. You have no position to talk, son.
Yeah, you can point.
It's too late to cast guidance unless you let me cast guidance. No, that's what I thought.
I'm sure it's totally not fine.
It really, well,
He looks
I might miss by one.
ponders for a
Man wants
moment.
a chance, hopefully.
Separation of all planes from material. And my own domain to live in.
It would
In theory.
Shut up.
Not helping.
Okay. At this point, I assume Cedric or Lyra comes through the portal.
Lyra probably is being like.
Right.
One of them.
Whoever it is that comes through holding the rope.
With the rope tied around themselves.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now,
You
I'm
forget
more of you.
something.
Sorry, Tom.
I said, did you forget something?
a way out was something I hadn't considered. The gods did mention that this would create or the ability to do this would require a lot of power, hence the need for Odin, and there was no.
You going?
I recognise that sound.
And there was no guarantee that it would definitely work. But
You're doing what Zeus is doing.
Hecate did say that it was very possible.
Have you mentioned that it would also sever the bonds between these planes and the material plane?
Yeah.
Would therefore also fulfill that.
I had not.
These are good intonations in which you are speaking.
Yes.
I can also assist with this construction. I believe then that we have an accord. But know this, if it goes wrong and all that happens is you trap me in here further, having removed my allies, I will spend the remainder of my considerable lifetime hunting down your lineages and severing them with great desire and fury.
I would expect nothing less.
Before decimating your world
I repeat,
into nothingness.
being of your magnitude and your companion.
There is a soft growl that comes to the dragon, but it is so loud, the three of you that are there have to hold your ears to stop them from bursting.
Sorry, I feel like I've
Shit my pants.
I feel like I may have said something unintentionally wrong, which is impressive for me because normally I do it intentionally. No, don't say that because that would lead me.
He was a good boy. Basically, where you were going.
No, what I was going to say was pet, and that would have led to me dying at that moment.
All of a sudden, his hunt in time and everything is shortened by a lot.
Just that second. Your dragon would no doubt cause utter devastation and destruction to all before it. So I believe every single word that you're saying.
Good.
Lyra, please get me out of here.
Let's go. Let's go.
As the rope is being pulled to summon Foundling and Asher to draw them back. Quello says, I do thank you for your assistance in this matter. It will not be forgotten.
Why did we put 200 meters?
This is like
It's far too long. They were 3 feet in.
I guess, but then
I also liked how sinister that was, to the point where I'm like, did we actually just
We
give
have
him
made a
exactly what he
mistake.
wanted?
I was going to say, just come out the other
Have
side
we-
of that portal. I was
have
like,
we just given the
I
big
don't
bad everything he's
Yeah.
ever wanted?
yeah.
Probably.
I don't.
What's the worst that can happen?
He takes
So
us to New York.
Oh no. Anyway.
So you return out of the portal into the material plane in an area where you have absolutely no knowledge whatsoever. Apart from you, Kalatar, you have actually been on this
I have.
canal and cavern
I
at
have.
one point in your life.
I did.
But you
Once,
have,
a long time ago.
yeah, it was a very long time ago. And you have not really sure how you're going to get back.
Several years in game time.
But as you're sort of contemplating this for a moment, there is the flap of wings, but also the gallop of hooves. As you look up and you see, running as they are flying, a group of Pegasi.
Pegasuses.
Zeus.
Looks
Five
alike.
people.
Well, that's a different
No,
topic.
no.
That goes in the section with whore bags.
That's a light on the ground. They look at you and gesture for you to get onto their backs. As you mount up, the largest of them take moving over to Cedric resignedly.
Thanks.
But the one for Leela being
Pick a pony.
not yeah, Shetland pony, effectively.
From the Cadbury advert where it moonwalk. How's your name?
Absolutely. I will run up to him and call him my best friend.
You climb onto the backs of the Pegasi and they take off flying. As they rush up and they pass through the sky, through the clouds, you feel like you should be either getting severely colder or a lot hotter as the speed of this goes through. But you pass through the clouds and you are once again upon Olympus. You can see the 12 major Olympians stood around in a circle with Hecate in the center, stood at the hearth.
How can it never be a good thing? It's a cult.
She is chanting a spell and concentrating as the other gods stand there, arms outstretched. You feel that there is a great, powerful energy being dispensed here. And if it weren't for the fact that you were being shielded somewhat by something, like your bodies would disintegrate in a heartbeat.
So awesome. Nice. Yeah. What a way to go.
Let's
get
try it.
I want to lick it.
The
You lose the tip of your tongue.
swirling energies that surround here, you feel the storm clouds coming from Zeus, the pure violent energies coming out of Ares, the song, the hunt, the grain and the force of nature, the sea, and all these different energies that are coalescing, converting, and condensing into this central hearth. As they gather, you can see the world of Karat, of this whole entire planet that is constructed here. You can see where there are tendrils of interluding planes that are centered upon Fiaros. And as Hecate stands there, she waves her hand and it zooms in onto the planes. You can see where the energy just start to connect. And it's like it's peeling back an orange, as though segments of triangle, segments cutting in from one area, coalescing on that central point. She continues chanting, but in your mind you hear the prisons quickly.
Oh, okay. Who's got them? Yeah,
You.
I've got some as well, I think.
Okay.
Everyone just empty your pockets.
Yeah, I
Those
just
of you that have
take
them,
them out.
They
got
are
bag of holding.
coalesced together and they are thrown out and drawn, forming another circle within the circle. As Hecate continues her chant, you begin to see runes appear, the various runes of the Norse language and the Orvician language. These runes of power and magic just appearing and circling around, just creating these interlocking circles. The crystals themselves lock on to where their opposing elements are, even the ones which are empty still. You begin to see almost like a magnetic pulse, like you've got a bunch of iron filings in the center, are being drawn back towards their own separate elements. You watch it slowly at first, as they start to distinctly draw back, peeling back like a piece of pizza that are just being pulled away.
I don't know if that's nice or not.
Trying to
Interesting.
Like a floppy pizza you pick up and it just slides.
There's just cheese hanging on to the rest of it. It's like, ooh.
Tendrils.
You feel the energy pulling back, and as it goes, you see the additional threads from the celestial planes, from the underworld and Shadowfell. You can see those tendrils, and it's almost like you can see the different layers of planes surrounding now. You can see as they're pulling away, you can see the overlapping Feywild, the underlapping Shadowfell, the darkness, the Nine Hells, the Abyss, these various other planes you have not yet visited. They are all there. But the material plane itself is being cut off and sealed. You can see each of these exterior planes that are not linked directly to one of the gods or to any of these particular elements are just severed instantly. But these stronger forces that are being pushed and have interfered with the material plane are having that resistance. But as you concentrate, each of you can see, looking at a different point, the frozen creatures within Fiaros, what was once a hideous battle scene in the middle of Namor, where the worst of this is occurring. The devils down at the ground, the earth elementals that you had summoned that are interlocked in battle, are being sucked back, individually plucked from their reality and pulled back into their own anchor points.
Ooh.
The Githyanki in the sky are being pulled upwards with their red dragon mounts into the astral sea, vanishing. Your own charging army, your two armies that were encroaching upon them, are also drawn backwards, including the Enheya. They are being pulled back. The Valkyries are also being pulled back, but the general Asgardian warriors that are fighting, the ones that are from Asgard and Alfheim and such, are contained within there. But you can see as they all disappearing, leaving barely anyone behind. Only those original denizens that are meant to be there. And as those energies come back, you see the fire pulling back from the elemental plane of fire that have been drawn back along the river, the water flowing to take its place, and the scorched lands not quite recovering, but not as severe as it once was. You can see the flood that has gone over Sorisa is being drawn back like someone is sucking it with a straw and pulling it back into the crystal. The swirling air around the guy's desire being drawn back in together into a singular focal point as a funnel cloud spiraling around. All of these planes are happening simultaneously. They are all being drawn back and contained in their crystals. You see as the remaining three visionaries that had not yet been at your sword are also being drawn into the crystals, and you see them being contained within. The runes now spiral around these crystals, containing them into a single focal point. And you watch as the world seems those final 8 tendrils, their last remaining remnants, snap and are sucked within their crystals. As they do, the runes lock in place, sealing them and their energies, creating this sphere around the world as it zooms back out again from Fiaros, returning it to how it once was. But with all the connections gone. Crystals themselves then spiral back towards you, towards where the bag is being held at the ready. And as it opens up, they all fire in, and you feel the impact. And as they get inside, you hear an almighty. As the energies inside. You look inside?
Sure, why not?
No,
you idiot.
not like that, but just open it. Look.
I'm imagining, sorry, just really quick, imagining like arc style face melting when you look inside. So.
As the 8 crystals impact into each other, there is an almighty burst. It's almost like a scream of energy just floods out from there. Make a Constitution saving throw.
Sweet. You basically just looked at the Big Bang.
Yeah, essentially.
Awesome.
Oh boy.
Depending on.
Come on.
Dice change.
This bang of Elatar's life.
That was nearly a massive fuck.
That was bad.
16 was nearly a 2.
Con save.
You
plus 5.
You are with
21. Might make a
You're not
massive
within.
difference.
No, you're not within 10 feet of Asher.
Screw you then.
16.
Wait, wasn't Asher holding the bag though?
No, Galatar was. That's why he was. How he was able to look into it. You look into it. You have an immediate smell of burning as all the hair on your face and head.
No, my beard!
It burns away. Your eyes become pure white as you are blinded completely by this impact.
Oh,
as you,
Yeah!
and you open your mouth to scream of horror. You feel that singeing, burning into your throat, and your voice takes on a deep, berry white sort of level.
Yes! Sexy.
Oh yeah, baby.
I'm careless, but still sounds
But in
sexy.
Evie
But
wants
in
that.
that moment, in that moment of your remaining sight, you see those divine energies.
Oh, do you actually see it? Oh,
You see them coalesce within the crystal dragon.
Explain it.
In the dragon.
In the dragon.
Oh fuck, we killed the dragon.
And the energy then bursts out of it as the two of them float in a circle, directing the world into being. It's a circle.
They just spin.
But that is the last thing that Kalatar will see.
Yes!
Instinctively, your hands clamp the bag shut, and the runic magic that is surrounding it causes the bag to fold in on itself and vanish.
God, I thought you were going to say it folds in itself and dead.
Oh boy.
You take a moment
To comprehend his stupidity.
Where am I?
before the divine energies below where the gods are simmer away, and you are led down by the Pegasus. The energy you feel coming up, normally you feel a vast amount of divine energy from the gods. Now you feel virtually nothing. This has drained them almost completely to do such a high level of magic and power.
Anyone feeling opportunity?
Wait, guys, yeah, it's time to strike.
Now rise up.
This was our plan all along.
And Cedric reveals his secret plan to become a god. Every character must become a god.
As you alight, the gods have each returned to their throne and have brought out their nectar and ambrosia that they are consuming themselves to try and
Is that
get
like
that
what
level
we
of
made
success.
in the last campaign?
The nectar and ambrosia, yes. Yeah, it's the food and the drink of the gods.
Ambrosia gold, yeah.
Yeah, fruit of
Tested.
That's
Tested. Should be tested.
technically a type of like a honey almost.
Yes.
But they all look at you completely exhausted, almost gaunt in their expression.
What's happening?
Did it work?
Zeus looks at you. I think it's safe to say it did. But we have no sight into that world now.
Why?
Bloody well done. That was amazing. I think that calls for a beer all round. Maybe tomorrow.
I think
It was very spectacular.
Let's have some wine.
Jesus Christ!
What the heck?
What happened to your beard?
What did you do?
Oh no.
Deeper.
Going deeper. Base.
You just really needed that base.
I'm done.
I think we have had enough with. So we are going to enjoy ourselves for the moment, but we have a lot to unpick from this. There are going to be consequences
Oh no.
of what we've done.
Consequences to our actions?
What? What's that?
There's no such thing, is there? Wait. Who said that?
One of the consequences is that the world is saved.
That is a mercy, and we shall have to deal with it. But thank you, heroes. We appreciate you bringing this to our attention and for all you did. Now go away. And he just waves his hand and you all vanish from Olympus, returning to Maine. At the base, near the battle by the chieftain's tent, where the only one who's left is Gerenalis.
Because everyone else doesn't belong there.
So.
And that is where we're going to pick up next time.
Oh.
Ooh.
Oh, okay. Oh.
Because that, my friends, brings us pretty much to the close of this campaign.
We did it!
I'm not ready.
Wow.
You're not gonna die. I survived, which means I die.
Oh,
Sucks to be Cedric.
oh boy.
Bye, Cedric.
Oh no.
And I won't even get to see it.
Oh.
So, yes, in the new year, when we actually get around to doing this, unless we want to do it before the new year, which is also an option, or before Christmas or New Year's or whatever, then we can sort that out amongst ourselves. But start thinking about what it is that your characters will go off and do now that this is done.
Get a white stick.
You're gonna get a dog.
Yes,
Dog.
dog. The dog of dogs can be his assistant dog.
Yes.
Dog the dog.
I
That's
approve.
for inspiration.
But yes, thank you very much for being with us and being with us without this campaign. You check us out on YouTube for the previous history of the character. This is your first time watching us. Check out our board game streams that we have been doing, and we will be doing. I think we're going to try and do it every Wednesday now going forward. It's probably going to be our time for the board game streams. Maybe a Thursday if that works best for people, so that we can at least get Ross playing a game every so often.
Yes.
But until next time, take care of yourselves. Have a Merry Christmas. We don't see you before then. And a Happy New Year. And thank you for everything. We will see you very soon. Good night. As I find.
Yay.